And Zulma Gonzalez, this mic is all yours.
Hi, family. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. My computer is doing whatever it was doing before, except that I can't seem to make it. I don't know what's happening. Hi, everybody. Thankful Thursday to you all. Let me turn on a little more light so I can see myself. Uh, I don't know what the heck is going on with the computer. Well, actually, I need to put my computer in the shop. I think I mentioned weeks and weeks and weeks ago that I had cracked the screen accidentally, of course. And um and now my touch screen is not touchable. I mean, you know what I mean? It's not working in touchscreen mode. It's supposed to, but it's not. Anyhow, all is well. It's been a good week. It's not going to talk too much about too much, except that after going horseback riding on Sunday, nothing crazy. We just, just one horse behind the other, the least exciting horseback ride I've had, my third and probably my last, because I won't go there again. Um, and then we went to a diner, a pub afterwards to have a meal together, and um, that was all fine and good. And on the way home, all of a sudden, strangely, my right arm felt heavy. Uh, I couldn't. I'd go to lift my arm up, and it just didn't want to hang out with me. My arm didn't want to hang out with me. Um, okay, now I'm trying to get my screen to work. I don't know what's happening with that either. My second monitor isn't working. I don't know what's happening. Anyhow, so my friend Debbie, she gets on the phone with me, and she's on the phone all the way home, and I felt okay. Otherwise, I get home, I try to get out the car. I took everything in me. It's like my whole body felt heavy. I don't know what it was. Came in, took off some of my clothes, couldn't even take everything off. Still had my boots on, even laid across the bed and started to cry. Because of course the first thing you do is go, ego first and loudest, right? What's going on? Oh my God, oh my God. And then I'm like, stop, 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 stop. My favorite 5 words. Stop, 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 stop. Um, I am not this body. I went all, and I'm telling you, I was a course in miracles. I was the coco. I am not this body. Whatever's going on, it's not part of me. I'm having faith in my faith. I learned that one from Reverend Swan. I have faith in your faith. I have faith in my faith. I know that my faith keeps me well. No matter what's going on, my faith keeps me well. My faith keeps me well. I am not this body. I am not this body. And that lulled me to sleep for a couple hours. Woke up. Now I'm feeling hazy, like hazy. That's the best way I can describe it. I wasn't dizzy. It wasn't a vertigo thing. Just hazy. And that lasted. That lasted. Went back to sleep. Oh, and the right side of my neck was an excruciating pain from even, driving home. Excruciating pain, just right here into this part of my neck. I had no idea why. I put a salon pass on it, one of those, things, and just went on back to sleep. And baby boy was right there with me, lovable, right there, licking my tears. I want to cry just thinking about that. That was the sweetest thing. Um, and it wasn't until I woke up for the third time, like 4 in the morning, and the pain was gone, but I'm still hazy. So I called the chiropractor. Went to the chiropractor. He adjusted me. I came home, laid down, went to sleep. It felt like, when you haven't had enough sleep. That's kind of what it felt like. When you just haven't had enough sleep, and you're running on fumes. But I had slept. It's not so that wasn't it. And I don't know what was it, but I'm going to be looking into it. That's my whole story. All seems well. That's all I've got. Something, whatever that is, I will not ignore it because, the body, whatever that was is, I'm not going to ignore it. So I'm trying to get in touch with my primary and we'll go from there. Anyway, a thankful Thursday to you all. It's a great day to just be. I can't seem to get my monitor. My second monitor doesn't want to work. I don't know. It was working and now it's not. I don't know why. Um, so that means if I'm going to show slides today, I'm going to, if I'm going to show slide, there it is. If I'm going to show a slide today, I think I got it. By golly, I think I've got it. I don't know what's happening. I'm going to have to start doing this earlier, like the day before, because I don't like this. I don't like this last minute. All of a sudden, things don't want to work. I don't know why things were working and now they're not. And so it is. And so it is. So, um, without a lot of intro, we're talking Course in Miracles meets Science of Mind. I have had on my mind a client that I have, and who thinks that the past is real, and all the pain with it is real, and everything that she's experiencing um, pertaining to the people of her past. And I don't want to go into that because I don't want to go into other details, but that's what's been on my mind, and how to approach the forgiveness issue with her. Um, it's interesting that when she talks about the person, the main person, the main culprit, the cause of it all, and in her mind, um, she will, defend and say, they did the best they could and all that. And if I agree, then she'll go the other way. Uh, and if she goes the other way initially, and I to some extent agree, because I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Um, I'm not making that real. But if I don't disagree, then she goes the other way. So, um, uh, and I was, I was reading in the course, where it talks about that we're afraid of what we think love is, not of love itself. And it describes this individual. Woo, like they could have put her picture on the cover of the book, and I'm really, and she's been my client for quite a while. And while I've seen her making strides in other areas of her life, there's still that, if 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 she says something and I don't, if she sends me a message and I don't respond immediately, she feels like she's being abandoned, and that she's being ignored and neglected, and these are words that she's used. um so clearly there's a major self-worth issue, and I know some of her people, so i, I can see clearly, you know um where it started. um it's about how to get her to see, getting her to recognize the truth of who she is, so that she can see that this body that she's been, um, thinks is the cause, that it's not. I love workbook lesson 23, which talks about, that there's no point lamenting the world and no point trying to change the world. because it's incapable of change. That the change that, these attack thoughts. In fact, lesson 23 is about giving up attack thoughts. Um, that the only way to give up attack thoughts is to, first of all, to look at the fact that it's coming from the thoughts. And I've just decided I'm just going to let her get angry. She shuts down. She will shut down during a session, um and stay on the and stay there. She won't necessarily go away. She'll just shut down. And I think I'm going to have to, as I'm talking this through, because it's a conundrum for me. It's a conundrum. I have been um um willing. I'm always willing to just let spirit have its way and have its way and have its way. Um, of course, uh, I'm at the point. I am at the point where I need. The course says, begin each day with, preparing my mind for how, rules for decision and how I want things to be. I need that. I need that. And I don't know what that is. And if anybody anywhere along the way has anything that they can offer, I would appreciate it. Be it here, be it a private message, whatever. Because I'm at a conundrum stage. Sometimes I feel like I'm just taking her money, and I don't. Who I am isn't. I can't. That's not. I can't do free sessions because my license won't let me do that. But sometimes it feels like nothing has happened, just nothing. That we're right back at square one. It just seems to feel that way. And I'm saying seems because I know that's not the case. Like I said, I have seen some strides, um, but it's not easy. Anyhow, that's what had been on my mind. And because of that, what I'm going to read is something that I came across in shortly from Ernest Holmes, a section called Getting Along with People. And I would love for us to talk about it. Reminder that we are looking at A Course in Miracles Meets Science of Mind and Other Metaphysical Teachings. And these are just some of the metaphysical teachers or some of the teachers. And oh, that's not the slide I wanted to put up first. But why not? Since it's there, you'll identify with what you think will make you safe. Whatever it may be, you will believe that it is one with you. Your safety lies not in truth and not in lies. Love is your safety. Fear does not exist. This is something I want to share with her. Identify with love and you're safe. Identify with love and you're home. Identifying with love and find yourself. I'm going to take the screen down because the slides that I wanted is not that one. Um, okay, here we go. Here we go. From current slide. All right. Reminding quickly about how we should train our thoughts to recognize the spirit in everything we do, say, and think. Yesterday, I was at a Course in Miracles study group, and we read they were reading the ladder of prayer, and it was wonderful. We're talking about prayer, and Dr. Ernest Holmes says that he says make your life a prayer, and he also says that the answer to prayer is in the prayer itself. Um, and this came up for me, that about training our thoughts to recognize the spirit in everything we do, say, and think. Thank you for that, Glorian. Oh, you know what? Let me say hi to my peeps. Hold up. I went all in, and I mean, I know I'm talking to myself. You just happen to be listening. But let me say grand rising and a thankful Thursday to Lynn and Bob and Dove and Mickey and Sally and Deb and Lori and McKaylee. And thank you. I love you too, McKaylee. You know that. And Glorian and Regis. Um, and Katia, who I know is listening out there. I know she's listening. Um, and if I didn't shout out to Katia already, I think I did, but Katia earned her 20-year status as a licensed practitioner of science of mind, religious science. She is now status emeritus. I am so proud and happy for her, and I want everybody to know it. So there you go. Katia, if you heard me, right on again, sister, right on. So anyway, daily training our minds, to see if I'm seeing spirit in everything I do, say, and think, then I am living my life as a prayer. I'm choosing to engage with God. I'm choosing to remember, to remember, to remember. And there's no other way. Dr. Ernest says that anything else would be a complete failure, and it would have to be a complete failure because it would be the belief that it's not God. And since I can't be separate from God, it would be the belief in absolutely nothing. Um, we're reminded that this is a course in mind training and that all learning involves training and study rather involves attention and study at some level because an untrained mind accomplishes nothing. So we govern our surroundings by the nature of what is taking place in our consciousness. Um, that's from Joel Goldsmith, and that's so key. We think that um, what's going on out there is happening out there, and we are the victims of it. But remembering that we're not the victims of the world we see because we invent the world we see. We're inventing it. We're making it ourselves, and then there's always another way of looking at it. We can see peace instead of this, remembering that we're never upset for the reason that we think, and we can see peace instead of this. We are upset because of what we're thinking, not because of what we think is happening outside of us. Christian Larson reminds us in his book, Thinking for Results, that we naturally become master over all life when we can understand and master the process of thinking. And that's not to say that we're always going to be doing it perfectly and everything is always going to be kumbaya. I mean, like I said, I started feeling this feeling, and I laid in the bed and I just started to cry. And that was first. That came first. Oh, something is wrong with me. That came first. Fear jumped right in, and um, I- and I'm grateful to know that I have that my learning, because Ernest Holmes says the truth known is truth demonstrated. So it's one thing to say, "Oh yeah, I know that an untrained mind can accomplish nothing." Yeah, yeah. I know that I should train my mind. I know that I should train my thoughts to recognize the spirit. But if I'm not doing it, what the heck? Okay, do I really know it? Do I really know it? The course reminds us that knowledge, has there's no nothing else. There's just you either you know it or you don't. It's like trying. You either do something or you don't. You don't try to do it. You either do it or you don't. And it doesn't mean that you don't make an effort. But making efforts is one thing, but ultimately we either do it or we don't. We either accomplish or we don't. And the course talks about even that accomplishment, comes through working at it. You got to work it. You got to work it. It works if you work it. Um, so yeah, so that's that. Uh, that's that. Every response we make is determined by what we think we are. Every response you make is determined by what you think you are. What do you think you are? Are you that person who's tossed by the wind that blow as it's blowing, and every time somebody says something, you just let yourself get all upset and all bent out of shape, and you have to prove that you're right and all that? Or are you willing, as we'll read in the section I'm going to read, to just let people, things be as they are? Let things be exactly as they are. It's like I can see it. Okay, that is. I don't even like it, but it is. All right. I accept. I accept. I accept that I don't like it. Acceptance is key. I just accept it. I don't like it. And so it is. Um, this says return to meeting. What meeting? How is this? I trust that you're seeing and hearing me. You must be, because if you weren't, you tell me. And you're seeing my screen, right? I trust that you're seeing my screen.
Yes.
Because if you weren't, you would tell me that too. Okay, but on my screen it says return to meeting, as if I'm not there. I'm here. Anyway, so every response you make is determined by what you think you are. What do you think you are? And what you want to be, this was always the catch for me. What you want to be is what you think you are, because everything is now. That's once I understood that. It's now. What I want to be in this moment is what I am right now. Right now. It's always now. So what I want to be must determine every response I make. Um, and that might be all I have on these as far as slides over here. Let me stop that. Let me stop that. And I did have another slide I wanted to share. And it's about peace. It's about peace. It's about peace. And then I'll go into this reading by Ernest Holmes that you all can read with me. Share this slide. Okay. And there we go. From Dr. Ernest Holmes, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Within you is the kingdom of God, and within the kingdom of God is peace. A conscious knowledge of this peace, conscious, engaging, the habit of engaging with God, a conscious knowledge of this peace, coupled with a definite use of the law of mind, gives to each, gives to you, to me, gives the possibility of freedom from the bondage of doubt, fear, and uncertainty. And the Course reminds us, backing that up, that peace is part of you and requires only that you be there to embrace any situation in which you are. Hi, Rick. And there is no limit to where you are, so that your peace is everywhere you are. And that goes back to, what do you think you are? Every response you make is determined by what you think you are. And if you realize that you are the peace of God. The Course lesson tells us, I want the peace of God. I want the peace of God. I am the peace of God. Because to say it is one thing, but to mean it is something else. Because once I decide that I really mean this thing, then I start living as if, and living as if actually becomes that is what I am. Because I can't live as if it wasn't anyway. I am the peace of God, and grateful for that. But okay, Ernest Holmes wrote, I gotta find that. Whew, I'm sitting and practicing the presence. I've been having a ball this morning. I was reading some Joe Goldsmith this morning. Practicing the Presence was the book by him that was required of me to read when I was earning my license. And Gloria, and I knew you could give your heart for that one. It's like the best. It is the best. Um, uh, there is nothing by Joel Goldsmith that I don't read that doesn't make me pause and smile and sometimes just cry. I talk about Joel Goldsmith like he's my next door neighbor. Um, uh, and I talk about the consistency with which Joel has always communicated. You're practicing the presence is one of Gloria's favorite books. Um, um, and it is mine. Although, that the art of meditation, and that consciousness unfolding, I can't even begin to. I'll start naming books after a while. I'll start talking Joe Goldsmith stuff. And yes, the things that excite us, they change as we mature, as it should be, because at least to my way of thinking, as I choose to seek first the kingdom, let me go there. And my choice to seek first the kingdom makes everything look different. It makes everything just different. It's just not the same anymore. I I'm not out here seeking one of the strongest sections in the course for me is that section seek not outside yourself. It says it'll fail. It has to fail. It's because it's temporary, and anything temporary is bound to fail. As I learn what that means, seek first the kingdom, and all else will come. And that the kingdom is me. What? I am responsible for everything. I am the cause. I am the effect, and I'm saying cause with a small c. We talk about first cause and secondary causes, but that sort of thing. Ernest Holmes, Thomas Troward. That's the way they first cause with a capital C, and then but I am cause and I am effect, and the course says cause and effect are one. They really are one. We talk about, the effects of things, but those effects are coming from me as the cause. It's the way I'm seeing it, the way I see it. And I guarantee that if we all unmuted and I said, tell me something about what you see on the screen about every person on this screen right now. People might pick something different. One might pick the trees behind. I'm looking at Lynn's picture right now. Might pick the trees behind her. Someone else who may have like the color that she has on may talk about her shirt. Someone else who may like her hair color may focus on her hair color. It's the way I'm seeing it. And the same way we pick and choose that way, the course talks about the hierarchy of illusions, that there really is no hierarchy of illusions. It really is all just not real, period. What the course says, it's not a matter of bigger or smaller, it's just a matter of preference. It's just a matter of preference. Which illusion do I want to be the greater? Well, and my choice is to recognize that it is an illusion. That's how I was able to go to sleep on Sunday. That was big. That was big, and that was huge for me to remember what I am. And I don't say who, to remember what I am, and that I'm not this body. I'm not that. Um, and Bob writes that what we see are stumbling blocks to our realization of being. Yes, let me go in this chat because things are happening in the chat. Things are happening. Um, yes, Karen. Hi, my Karen. How you doing? Which teacher am I listening to? Which teacher am I listening to? And there's a book by Raymond Charles Barker titled The Power of Decision. Great book. Glorian, hi, my love. Go ahead.
Good morning. Love everything you're sharing as always. I just wanted to say the reason that I'm responsible for what I seemingly see is merely because of identifying with the false mind. And we can choose Christ's vision and bear witness to love's presence. So there's one fear and there's one Christ mind. There's one ego. Once we get to that place where we recognize that, people will come to me and say, well, I didn't make this. The idea is beyond that, what we're seemingly seeing was that the choice was made for the false mind, which projects fear. And if we align our mind with the Christ mind, that's the cause, and the extension of love is the effect. Thanks so much.
Yes. Thank you. 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 My Karen, hey. Go ahead.
Hey, I just want to join Gloria with what she just said has helped me so much with forgiveness. Thanks to Ken Wapnick's teachings. Ken teaches very strictly speaking, that we all have the same wrong mind, right mind, and decision maker. And I had a huge problem forgiving someone, and Zulma knows who this person is. And a really, really hard time. And then I spoke to someone who was truly helpful and said to me, Karen, he's got the same ego you have. You have the same ego. So how can you get mad at somebody who has the same ego you have? So it made me recognize, along with Ken's teaching, because this guy is strictly a Ken Wapnick student, that I choose my ego too. I do the same thing, maybe a
Mhm.
different form. Maybe I may have behaved differently, but it's still the same. So I was able to forgive because of that. So thank you for that reminder, Gloria, and thank you, As always, Zulma, I love you all.
Thank you. Thank you. And as Gloria says, different manifestation of fear. One ego, but also one Christ mind. Because for me, it's remembering that the ego is something I'm making up. It's a this I get to decide truth or not. Simple as that. Simple as that. It's either true or it's not. It's either real or it's not. And truth is what we call Holy Spirit, and not is what we call ego. Both of which are just decisions. It's a decision. I get to decide all the time, and I have to remember that others are deciding too, which is what you just said, Karen. You know, everybody's making a decision, and continuously, we're all continuously making decisions based on what we think we are. Every response we make is determined by what we think we are. And there you have it. That's really what it comes down to. I would like to, disregard my highlights because it's just what I do. Can you see this? This is coming. This is from my Kindle. So, is that clear enough for people to see? Well,
Yes.
okay. This is from Living the Science of Mind from Ernest Holmes, and it dates back in the 40s, I think, maybe even the 30s, 40s, because they end up compiling his stuff and putting it all in one book. But from Living the Science of Mind, a section called Getting Along with People, and what there's enough of this. There's enough in here that relates to that that you can easily relate to the course. But in thinking about this this client, this person, I want to this is important, and I just want to read it. So here we go. No one can live to himself alone. Other people are so much a part of our lives that we cannot think of living without them. People who feel themselves excluded from society are maladjusted. Now, that also says to me that we feel that we are separate from God, separate from life. God/life is synonymous to me, that we're separate from life. So people who feel themselves excluded from life, from society, are maladjusted. On the other hand, much of our trouble comes because of others. At least we think so. And he's talking from a level 2 perspective in this case at the moment. On the other hand, much of our troubles come from others. In our relationship with others, two things must happen if we are to be happy. We must be with others, enjoy them, and act with them without in any way seeking to control their actions. I laugh because that's where the rub comes. Because we think you should be doing it. I think you should be doing it my way. Because I think I'm right. Because I know. See, I know. Oh, what a joke. This is not always the easiest thing to do, particularly with our closest friends. But you may be certain that the one who has the greatest number of friends is the one who can work and play with them while at the same time letting them alone. Let all things be exactly as they are. This is true even in family life, for the family is made up of individual members who must live in close relationship with each other and work and play together while at the same time remaining individuals. It is a fortunate child who was born into a family that understands this and that gives the child as much freedom as possible while at the same time teaching him to cooperate with others. And no, this it's not easy. I experience it with Puppy Dog here. There are certain things that I can't make him do some things. And I realize I have to let him show me who he is. And then I make the adjustments because me saying to him, look, you have to do this. You just have to. It's just not, no. So this is I get Perfect lessons with lovable. The overprotected child loses his self-confidence. When he grows up, he lacks self-assurance. The child who feels neglected, unloved, and unwanted is likely to grow up with the unconscious feeling that everything and everyone is against him. This is where the attack thoughts come in. He is apt to develop either an over-aggressive or an under-aggressive attitude towards life. Now, here about when he says under-aggressive, basically means, becoming passive. And remembering when this was written, we have to take that into consideration. The language of the day. When his attitude lacks the proper amount of aggressiveness or assertiveness, I'm going to use that word, but he continually lives in dependence on others and gets along well only with those who are protecting and caring for him. When his attitude is over-aggressive, he finds it difficult to get along with others, for he generally seeks to dominate them. And this is where we think we are less than in that hierarchy. I'm more than, I'm less than. I was treated to be less than, so therefore I am less than. I mean, how could my parents or my teachers or my siblings be wrong, or my friends? How could they be wrong? What do I know? I'm the new kid on the block, that kind of thing. The well-adjusted person is one who has been permitted to be an individual, but who also has learned to cooperate with them, cooperate with others. Okay, let me read like I know how to read. The well-adjusted person is one who has been permitted to be an individual, but who also has learned to cooperate with others. This attitude probably was formed way back in the early family life, for it is here that we become conditioned for the years ahead. And as I'm reading this, I thought about how, looking at some people, listening to some people's stories and my own, and how the first and only time I went to an adult children of alcoholics meeting, my stepfather was a alcoholic, but he didn't become a part of the world, in my world, till I was 12. But the first and only time I went to an adult children of alcoholics meeting, for me, going to that meeting and listening to a woman who was born into an a violent alcoholic family, changed everything. It was like that story about the cross I was saying. You walk into a room with the cross and thinking I have the biggest cross of all, and end up leaving with the same cross and find out that it's, we cannot be born again physically, nor can we actually return to the days of our infancy. However, modern psychology does, in a sense, do this for the poorly adjusted person. He is taken back in imagination to infancy, and his mental and emotional reactions, which well up from the under part of his mind and memory, are brought to the light of day. This is a slow and expensive process. Few people can afford either the time or the money to go through it. Moreover, there are not enough analysts in the world to handle even a small fraction of the ones who need help. But here we go. There is another thing that we can do. Something that Jesus knew about him, and Ernest Holmes is coming strictly from the Bible. The course wasn't nowhere yet. In fact, Ernest Holmes, he made his transition in 1960. So long before so we're talking about the Bible. But there is another thing that we can do, something that Jesus knew about, something he referred to when he said, "You must be born again." And when they asked him how it could be possible for a man to be born again, he said, "You must be born of the Spirit." This is the new birth that comes through a new outlook on life, a new way of thinking, a new sense of our relationship to our environment, to the people around us, to ourselves, and to God. And that's why the course starts with nothing we see means anything. Because our goal is to see it differently. Above all else, we want to see it differently. Because the way we're seeing it, we think initially that what we see is real. And ultimately we find out that anything that we can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch is not real. It goes on. It is this relationship to God that Jesus placed first. For he said that if you find this, everything else will be added. And that's the Course's way of, that's how the Course tells us that we are one with God, that God is one with us, that we are what God is. That relationship, the habit of engaging with God. We're not engaging with something outside ourselves. We are engaging with that which we are. The name, calling on the name of God is calling on my own. Today we know that the psychological, emotional, and mental readjustments which are necessary to our well-being will be made if we experience this new birth that Jesus was talking about. In order to do this, we must have a firm conviction that all people live in God. And we must have a deep realization that we are all one in this universal spirit, which is God, which is what we were talking about. We were talking about earlier, we seeing, Karen was talking about that ego and this ego and that ego, but also looking at it from the true perspective that it's one spirit and it's just one spirit and it's just one spirit, and that we all live in God, we all move in God, we all have our being in God, because it's all God. It's all God. And as Gloria writes, we bless them, we make no demands, we just accept them, letting things be as they are, let people be as they are, just recognizing that it's okay. I'm unique that way. I am a willow sometimes, and I'm an oak at others. And sometimes when I'm the willow, someone else is being the oak. And sometimes I'm the willow and somebody else is being the willow too. And here we're all flexing all over the place and can't make sense of it. But it's not for me to tell you. I know someone who says, why do they have to do it that way? Why couldn't they and I'm like, oh, Reverend Sheila Pierce used to say that why is a low-level question. That kind of a why question is a low-level question. And Bob says, who would have guessed that being open, what was that? Wait a minute. That being open to see things differently would be such a thrill, right? Right? It's a whole new world. Oh my gosh. And Karen writes, bless or curse is the power of decision. And Bob writes, spiritual ecstasy is the the new orgasm. Love it. Love it. Yeah, baby. It's hot. It's hot. It's hot. Okay, I'll keep reading. So we must have a firm conviction that all people live in God, and we must have a deep realization that we are all one in this universal spirit, which is God. There is a place where we begin and leave off physically, because that's this body. But there is no place where we begin and leave off mentally or spiritually. Our minds merge with the minds of others, the one mind. And as they meet, some silent force within us attracts or repels automatically in accord with our accepted thought patterns. And we have to remember, the Course reminds us, that thought produces form, all thoughts produce form on some level, and that we are either deciding from the ego, the thought system, or from the Holy Spirit thought system, attracting or repelling. If we do not merge with others in cooperation, in unity, and in happiness, we may be certain that there is something in us that still feels it has been rebuffed. It's rather than think about, oh, you're not agreeing with me because that's your call for love. What about my call for love? In that moment, it's my call for love. It's not me extending, because I'm seeing you as separate from me. I'm seeing you as different. I'm seeing you, first of all, as not as smart as me, because I know, because you don't, that kind of thing. And yes, Dub, only the ego asks why. So here we're talking about merging with others in cooperation and unity and in happiness. Here is where the adjustment has to be made. What we must do is to see that we ourselves are adjusted to others. Not for me to expect you to blah, blah, blah. Not for me to lament the world. Not for me to try to change the world. but for me to look at the reason, the cause of the problem, for me to look at me, not you. Two kinds of business. Your business, no, rather, my business and none of my business. My business and none of my business. I am responsible for what I see. I. We neither wish to dominate them or nor wish them to dominate us. We wish to get along with them happily. They have opinions that are different from ours. We must be flexible enough to recognize that their opinions are right for them, even though they do not fit into our scheme. Now, I'm preaching to the choir. I realize that, but again, this was written. I'll go back and find. I think it was in the 40s, maybe earlier than that. Maybe the 30s. I don't know. This information didn't just jump up into the psychology books. He didn't take this from a psychology book. This is all coming from spirit. Him, Joel, and the whole and all the guys, Barker, and women, Emma and Baker Eddy, all of them, and Shin, and the whole lot have been taking the time, recognizing that they are not that body, that they are free, that they are spirit, recognizing to seek first the kingdom. This is what Jesus called non-resistance. When he spoke of non-resistance, he did not mean that we must agree with every person's opinion. He meant exactly what he said. Do not resist it. Let it alone. Do not even try to dominate it. If we do not resist it, it will depart from us. It will not disturb us. If we can get over this idea of trying to control other people's thoughts or actions and still live with them in happy relationships, we shall be well on the road to readjustment. And above everything else, if we can trace our own origin back to its original capital S source, which is God, and do the same for everyone else, we shall find that we are getting along with others. And that for me means not looking at the fact that your ego and my ego, and I'm glad that was an aha for Karen. But at that point, to be willing to let that go and go look at the spirit, that spirit is also me, doing the best they can in the best way they think they can, and me too. No, I'm doing the best I can, the best way I think I can, and you too. Me first. Seek first the kingdom. I have to see that we don't have to agree. We don't have to agree. In fact, the person who Karen was talking about is a Robert Perry person, and that's fine. That's fine. Another course person who thinks that it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Every time I breathe, I'm only breathing for one. I'm only breathing for one. All right, let me see if I can quickly read this. I just saw what time it is. Don't resist. If we get over the idea of trying to control people, well on the road to readjustment. Do the same. We'll find that we are getting along with others. If you want sunshine, step out into the sunshine. Get back, step away from the ego. Focus on the Holy Spirit. Step away from what you don't want. Focus on what you do want. Step away from what you don't like. Focus on what you do like. If you want sunshine, step out into the sunshine. If you have locked yourself away in a dark closet, why not come out into the light? I think it's workbook lesson 188 that oh God, just that fast I lost it. It's a recognition. It's not we're not finding out anything. We're just recognizing what's already there. Anyway, Step out into the light. If you have been feeling that everything is against you and no one really cares for you, know that God is in everyone, and meet the God in others and see what happens. In the course, it says, the tremendous joy, relief. I'm not sure what word to use exactly, when we meet everyone and ourselves without judgment. It's remarkable how Jesus approached this subject. It is as though he said, you think that you were born of flesh and blood. You think that your parents gave you life. You think that everything that has happened to you since you were born is held against you. You think that all the negative thoughts you have ever had are operating against you. You think that all the fears and failures and doubts and uncertainties you have been carrying around for years are something over which you have no control. Why not try something else? I have a method for which will work for you if you will let it. Just forget all the past. Forgive yourself and everyone else for everything that has ever happened. Try to feel that everyone is doing about the best he can. Come to realize that while you were born into this world through your parents, you really are a spirit. You really are born out of life. The thing that entered into you when you were born was God, the living spirit. Why not get back to the true center of your being and think and act and live from the point of view that you are one with everything because you are one with God? Jesus gave to us the secret of complete adjustment when he said, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. Go back in your thought and your imagination to this central idea. I am one with God. All people are one with God. We all live in God. When I meet others, it is God in them I meet. God individualized, God personalized, God as my friend. And this is just another paragraph, and then I'm out. Let's see what time it is. Jesus added the spirit to the knowledge of what today we call psychology, or the way the mind works. He did not deny that people are unhappy or badly adjusted to life. He did say, you don't have to be this way. Seek first things first, and everything else will be added. And by first things, to which everything is added, he meant find God in yourself. That's why he said, blessed are they that do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. Seek, and ye shall find. If people look drab or uninteresting to us, it's because of the way we look at them. If we have not received joy from others, it's because we have stifled joy at the center of our own being. Joy must go forth to meet joy. Love must go forth to meet love. In other words, extend, 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 extend. And as long as we keep extending, 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 it's going to come back to us. Even what we won't look at it as fear on their part or anger on their part or just not listening on their part. We'll see it's still love. It's love coming from them. Be it a call for love, be it an extension from love. It's all love. It's all love. It's all love. Love must go forth to meet love. All people are rooted in God, and it is only as we go down to the roots of our being, remembering I'm not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. But I have to remember too that you are not a body. Also, to the roots of our being, that we unify with others in spirit and truth. Everything that follows is the play of life upon itself. That's what I've got. Thanks, family. We'll talk more. Love you. Lynn, here's the mic.
Thank you so much, Zulma. Dov, did you want to say something or just?
I want to
Okay.
thank Zulma. I just want to say every word that she said is the gospel truth.
I love it.